Audio Jungle.
Hello everyone, this is Al Kabir, the analyst, and today I wanted to talk the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks is the most overrated team in the NFL right now. Once again, the Seattle Seahawks is the most overrated team in the NFL right now. And this is Al Kabir, the analyst. I wanted to talk about this because current events of the Seattle Seahawks falling to the Cardinals, one of the most epic games this year. It was a nail biter, but nobody want to talk about how basically bad the Seattle Seahawks look, and they had opportunities in the red zone, and we know the epic pick he threw in. DK Metcalf hauled Baker down, so we know about that, but Seattle Seahawks is not as good, man. They not. What team did they beat to make us put them up there? Yes, it's very, very hard for me to criticize a team that's 5-1, especially in the NFL. It's hard to win games in the NFL. And out of 6 games, you only lost 1. And that was to the Arizona Cardinals. But let's go over the teams they beat. And then I'm going to go over each division winning team, even the NFC East. I'm going to go over that and explain why I believe the Seattle Seahawks is overrated. Plus, I want to get into Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is really good. He is having a phenomenal year. For some reason, we putting the Seattle Seahawks on this high pedestal for whatever reason. We all want to see Russell Wilson get an MVP, and we just pushing it on the Seattle Seahawks. They beat certain teams, and we overblow it. We overblow it, man. I just don't think they as good. I'm sorry. I do not think they as good as people believe. I do not. So let's go over each game that they played. So first team, Atlanta Falcons. We all know the Atlanta Falcons are choke artists. They only won 1 game this year. 1 game. And they choked against the Lions last week. Atlanta Falcons are not good this year. They're not. Looks like they possibly about to rebuild. And the Seahawks did handle business against a bad team, which we all thought the Atlanta Falcons could be something, especially me. I thought they could be something this year, but they're not. We just got to call it how it is. And they won that game 38-25. Kudos. The New England Patriots. They played the New England Patriots at home. And the New England Patriots, another team, not as good. Cam Newton is playing at an all-time low. Maybe he picks it up later, but they played the New England Patriots, who is not a good team. And New England Patriots actually fought with the Seattle Seahawks. That game ended up going 35-30. Seattle Seahawks obviously won. Come on, man. The New England Patriots, that's who they beat. Who's not a good team right now. Who's only, 2-4? Third team they beat, Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they had Dak Prescott, but even with Dak Prescott, they only won 1 game. To who? The Atlanta Falcons, who's a bad team. Who actually Atlanta Falcons shot themselves in the foot because they were scared to get an offside kick. But Dallas sucks. And Russell did what you're supposed to do to a bad defense. He threw 5 touchdowns. I don't believe he threw a pick. But come on. I'm 3 games in. They did not get a convincing win to me yet. They did what you're supposed to do to weak teams. Beat them. And that's what they did. So Falcons not good. Patriots not good. Cowboys not good. 14 Dolphins. Who actually Russell Wilson had one in his bad games. The only reason why they won that game, literally the only reason why they won that game, is because Ryan Fitzpatrick was so bad. That was a game they could have lost. And this was the first team they played with a winning record. First team they played with a winning record. And they barely squeezed it out. They barely squeezed this one out. So kudos to their defense. But come on, man. Y'all squeezed one out against the Miami Dolphins. Minnesota Vikings went to the wire 27-26. We know Kirk Cousins is terrible. We know the Vikings are playing bad. But you only won 27-26? A nail biter with the Vikings? Who's a 6.5 underdogs right now to the Green Bay Packers? They are 6.5 underdogs to the Green Bay Packers right now. That just lets you know how bad the Minnesota Vikings is. And y'all only on 27-26? Come on, man. We got to stop it. But once again, they 5-0, and they doing what you're supposed to do. The bad teams beat them. All right. And obviously last week, they played the Arizona Cardinals. Great game. Great game to watch. This the game that convinced me and made me look at the Seattle Seahawks wins. They lost to the Cardinals 37-34. Russell Wilson threw 3 picks that game. Nobody want to talk about it. They want to talk about he threw over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he did throw 3 picks. He threw some costly picks. Very costly picks. And nobody want to talk about it. And that was their first loss. And this was one of the other teams they played with a winning record. So they 1-1 against teams with a winning record. 1-1. Like, come on. Come on, we got to stop. Seattle is not good. Not good. I don't believe they probably going to be in first place in their division too long. Next game, they play the 49ers. Can the 49ers win that game? Possibly. They can possibly lose to the 49ers. And if they lose to the 49ers and you go back and look at this video, you just say, wow, another team they lost to. And now let's go over the other division winners. And we can go over their wins and losses, but I'll just briefly go over it. So the Buffalo Bills, who's a division leader in the AFC East, they at least beat a Rams team, who's a good team. They even beat the Raiders, who I believe is a good team as well. So they at least got 2 winning teams that they beat. Yes, Bills has been struggling lately, but they got some convincing wins to believe that they're the truth. Do I have to go over Kansas City? They beat the Ravens, who's a good team. They beat the Bills, who is a good team. So once again, they at least got 2 teams that they beat that was convincing wins. Got the Pittsburgh Steelers, another division leader. They at least beat Cleveland, who's a good team. They beat Tennessee, who's a good team, who everyone thought could possibly be the best team in the NFL is the Tennessee Titans. But the Steelers knocked them off. 2 great convincing wins. Tennessee Titans bumped off the Buffalo Bills, what was a very convincing win to show that they are serious. They are serious. Like, come on. And obviously they banged it out with the Steelers, but they lost, unfortunately. But they got that convincing win. Seahawks did not. Now let's go into the NFC conference. Let's start with the NFC, what people like call the least. The Philadelphia Eagles got their convincing win against the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks didn't even beat a team in the caliber of the San Francisco 49ers yet. Green Bay Packers beat the New Orleans Saints. Very convincing win. Once again, Seattle did not get a convincing win yet. They beat all losing record teams except the Dolphins. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They beat a great Green Bay team. Actually blew them out. And then they blew out another team in the Las Vegas Raiders. Once again, convincing wins. Seattle did not do that yet. So all in all, I named all those division leaders who at least got one convincing win. Name one convincing win the Seattle got. They beat all them losing record teams, which they were supposed to do. But when they play a team that can match up with them, FYI, the Cardinals, they lost. They lost. And Russell had a bad game. Let's call it what it is. Russell had a terrible game. He had a terrible game. I'm not saying this to not the Seattle Seahawks, but they are overrated. People possibly got them going to the Super Bowl and Russell just winning these MVPs. We got to stop it. We got to stop it. It's teams out there that can get Seattle, possibly in their own division. It's teams out there that can get Seattle. So this is why I believe Seattle is the most overrated team. But tell me, what do you think, man? And how do you feel? Do you think Seattle is overrated? Obviously, I do. I believe they did not get a convincing win to me yet. Or I'm tripping. They are good. They're going to make this playoff run and Russell Wilson's going to get this MVP, which I don't believe is going to happen. A lot of people are going to be upset, but I'm calling it what it is, man. But this is Al Kabir, the analyst. I'm Ghost.